This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Okay, so a while back, Hefner had this really, what I think is pretty cool idea for a series of videos, Hefner on Afghan. Thank you for that. The idea is that you send me presets and I do what I can to sort of play around with them, react to them, that sort of thing. I'm not presenting myself as an expert in any of this. It's just that, you know, I like to dial in tones and it's cool to see you guys and some of your tones. So if you're a Patreon member, feel free to send in stuff, and yeah, that's basically the way that I'm keeping it at a manageable amount. So Andy sent me this email. Here are a pair of Podgo presets I put together. The first, Litigator JNC, was inspired by a guitarist whose identity is hopefully obvious. I think he's talking about Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. The second, Litigator Rotor, has a couple of standard clean/crunchy tones, a wet lead tone, and a Leslie for covering organ parts. Awesome. I use these presets in what sounds like probably the most fun band that I can think of, power trio that covers the likes of Alan Hines, John Schofield, and Bill Frisell. And I find between these two I have all the sounds I need. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'd love to hear you play them. I'm sure you'll make them sound better than I do. That's optimistic, Andy, but let's see how we go. So, Litigator Rotor is what we'll start off with. So, he's actually, we'll put him in the advanced bracket of preset users because he's using snapshots. as I tend to do. I'm going to do a bit of a video later on about how I do stuff. Incidentally, we talked about Alan Hines. Alan Hines has a great course on TrueFire. I won't do the full hard sell here, but he's got some really interesting stuff in there, including some legato stuff. I really dug Alan Hines's takes on a lot of things on there. You can use the code JNC40 to get 40% off, or if you're using the All Access Pass, you can use JNC100 to get $100 off the All Access, where you can get access to all of this stuff for a full year. I kind of like to use that for inspiration and that sort of thing. So for snapshots, I'll kind of quickly go through this. I think we've got Kinky Boost up front here. We've got the Line 6 Litigator. We've got a volume pedal between the amp and cab. We're using the US 1x12 Deluxe. I like this. We're using a high cut down at 4 kilohertz, so we're not going to get any spiky here. Low cut up to 80, and using the 121 ribbon, sorry. Then we've got the EQ calligraphic. So, well, effectively we've just got a slight less of a push on the 6600 and the 80 hertz. So yeah, that's not going to be doing a ton. Then we've got the Vibe Rotary, which actually the rotary speaker, I'll see how you've set that up later on, Andy, but then analog with mod, and then 63 springs. So let's hear it. That's really nice feeling preset. So drive 8.5 here. I think clean it's down at 4.1. And he's just using the master and the drive to balance between those two. Bass then at 4.4, mids at 5, treble at 4.4. That's, yeah, just. Effectively, we're pushing the mids here, aren't we, and the low mids. But that worked. Okay, now jump across to snapshot 3. Kicking on the Kinky Boost with the drive at 5.4, and we're still with this 8.5 3 master. And then that analog with mod comes on, quarter note dotted, 23% feedback. And the mix 16%. You can hear it's got a bit of a spread to it as well. Nice. And then rotary kicking on. So here's one minor sort of tip. Technically, the Vibe models in the Helix are generally full cab, so you don't necessarily have to have a cab on as well. You could just have either or, but straightforward preset, but I think really, really useful. Just good, clean fun. And yeah, so that's the only one thing that you might want to consider is just turning off that cab. You don't need it necessarily. Because it is a model of a cab. Anyway, so let's check out this one, the one based on Nickelback. So similar kind of thing here, sparkle, rhythm, rock, wet lead. So we'll start with this sparkle, and again similar sort of setup actually. We're using this again to push the mids a smidge, kind of subtle. Got the dynamic kinky comp up top, kinky boost in front as well, and similar amp settings, so cool. And we're still using analog with mod. Right, so since this is based on me, actually, I'm using a Strat here. I would have this drive down even lower because if I'm playing clean, I want it to be really clean. That's just below unity, so I'd bring that up, I think. That's probably what I would do there. So that's the sparkle part. The rhythm. Cool. Then rock. Probably. We're using the same cabs as well as before, so the main difference is that we've got basically a bit more delay. We are using the glitz reverb, so that's what I do use. If we just jump to Eric Lead, we'll see that I do actually use, in general, quite a lot more gain. Typically, what I start with these days is more like this. So I have the dynamic red squeeze, and without the top secret overdrive on, you get this. And then top secret OD is for the really high gain. And my amp settings are quite weird. The bass at about 5, mids at about 10, treble and presence kind of off. And then that high cut at 4, similar to what Andy has done. And then I use the dual delay typically. The mix I would take down from here these days probably, personally. And then, like Andy, I would use the glitz. That's doing like the blooming kind of delay thing. So that's, I think, for me, I would be chucking in a bit more gain. I might even... Also, I have my compressor before the drive. So I probably would just go with the ones that I actually use if I was trying to sound like me. I mean, it's probably quite a lot of gain. I don't know what guitar Andy uses, but that would be closer maybe to what I'd do if you're looking for that. And I probably wouldn't have mod on my delay either. But thanks for sending those across. I might just save this and send it back to you. It's not changed. Really like those rotary settings, so those ones might be worth taking a look at, particularly if you're into that sort of thing. Awesome stuff, Andy. Thank you for sending those in. If you've got presets you want me to check out, feel free to do so if you're a Patreon member, and I'll check these out. I'm going to put together an introduction now, but a totally usable kind of, and yeah. In that kind of trio setting. I love the sound of the Litigator, really. I'll catch you in another video soon, and cheers for stopping by. You can grab my Podgo presets and Helix presets and all that stuff in the description on the Gumroad. And cheers for now. Bye.